My hair got burned off at a salon by a professional hairdresser about 8 months ago. This was me that Monday on my way to the salon, and this was me that same Monday in the evening. And after such a traumatic experience, I finally got the courage to step into a salon once again. Did I go back to the same salon? What did they say about my hair? Do I regret not going to a salon sooner, or was my experience just as bad? Gracias, Bianca. Thank you. She's a bilingual doggy. Between concrete walls, there's a place for us. Do you wanna follow? Hola, gente. What is up, my warrior angels? Welcome to yet another video where we talk about hair, in this case my hair recovery journey. And next to me, siesta addict, little helper, Bianca, the teacup Chihuahua. So I'm not gonna bore you talking about what happened to me at the salon. I have 2 videos before that explain the entire thing in real time almost, and how bad it felt. It was super traumatic, and the fact that I have a hair care series here on this channel and this is what I do just made it all even more complicated to swallow. In a nutshell, I went into a new salon that was highly recommended. I wanted a root touch-up, and what I got is just the top layer completely burnt off, fell off. Yes, it completely broke off, almost from the root, because the professional hairdresser that was doing my highlights most likely overlapped the bleach. She also overexposed it, so I'm pretty sure she left the bleach on my hair way longer than it needed to be. I think the first time I got highlights, I was 14 years old. And even though I had a share of bad experiences where maybe there was a little bit of breakage in the ends after an appointment that required me to chop my hair off, nothing compares to what was done to the top layer of my hair, which obviously for aesthetic purposes I always have pinned up, because right now there's about 8 centimeters of growth. Thanks to the video where I shared my hair nightmare story, a whole bunch of you guys from all over the world shared yours, and I realized I've been blind all this time. This is actually a potential risk of getting your hair highlighted. Oh my god, I'm starting to have like a neck rash just remembering this whole thing. And even though I've had my ups and downs when it comes to this subject, and also it's been a little bit more complicated for me to film and just feel comfortable once again on camera. I'm sorry, there's like an ambulance going by. Every single dog in the neighborhood is howling at it, unless you're Bianca, the mellow, chill Chihuahua. Like I said, so many of you guys reached out with your personal stories, and that fueled me to continue making videos related to this hair recovery journey. And I speak in present because, well, you guys, like I said, I just have an 8 centimeter growth. There's a long way to go until I'm able to wear my hair without pinning the top layer that burned off up. So I've been doing my roots at home for all those months just to look half presentable, with all the downsides and stress of doing it myself. But to be honest, I've also reached out to hairdressers that specifically told me, if your hair burned off, I'm sorry, but I cannot have you as a client, because that is a potential risk for me down the line. They're absolutely in the right to choose the level of damage they want to deal with. For me, as the person in this situation, it felt very isolating. Even in those moments where I actually wanted to reach out for help, it was not an easy thing to find. And what is interesting is that my subscribers, many of which are very knowledgeable hair professionals or savvy DIYers, you all had tons of great tips and tricks, including one of you guys that actually suggested a great color formulation for my roots so that I didn't have to used bleach in a very, very long time at the very least. So anyways, a few of you guys were asking me, how are you touching up your roots? You know, because you were in a similar situation, or you had started to become a little bit scared about bleaching your hair, so you wanted to know. So I uploaded about 2 or 3 weeks ago a video sharing with you how I touch up my roots. I wouldn't say I got hate, but I got enough negativity or you know, criticism so that I haven't uploaded ever since. As always, most of the comments were so heartwarming and amazing, and so many of you guys were very interested in the formulation and everything. So in a way, I want to thank you guys, and I'm talking to those of you who were not that pleased with the results, because that actually made me think, reconsider going back to a salon. And yes, there's a lot of good things that came out of it, and I also learned a lot from my first salon visit after the hair nightmare. So the first thing that happened is that I remembered I had a bit of a hair nightmare right before my brother's wedding, and I had somewhere in my room a strip of sewed-in hair extensions that I had worn for a while, and then as my hair grew healthier and amazing, I removed them. Actually, I did not remove it myself. I gave a pair of scissors to my husband because we were on quarantine. So I thought, I don't know if it's so much the color that is bothering me. Maybe it is the fact that I've lost so much hair. It's so short and I have to clip it back that I've lost volume, and I just, you know, I just don't feel good about my hair, even though it is looking better. I thought, why not compensate the fact that this top layer is gone, although all that hair is gone, and then I don't have enough volume, and just get those extensions sewed back in. So I looked for them all over. They looked in very good condition, and so I telephoned the salon. This is not just any salon. This is a salon that specializes in hair extensions. And there they had sold these extensions to me and did the maintenance for me back in the day. So I talked to the owner, Celia, and I basically tell her everything that's happened to me. And she has known me since I was 19 years old, approximately, maybe sooner, because my mom used to go there. I don't know, should I say this? You know, life is long, things happen. So she says, oh my God, I can't believe this happened to you, Heidi. Of course, like, do come in. And she offered to also figure out the color situation, which was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This salon does not dye or highlight or do anything to your hair unless you have extensions on. They just do it for their clients. It's their expertise and it's the way they carry their business. And because of what they do, they are actually very, very used to receiving clients that are in deep despair. Not just people wanting longer hair. Hundreds and hundreds of stories of hair nightmares, hair burn-offs, hair that was chemically straightened that went absolutely wrong and literally left people almost bald. And then there's, of course, the more serious health issues like alopecia, chemo. So like I said, they're extremely used to receiving women in despair. I go in and of course they were super warm with me the entire time. And of course they asked me like, why didn't you come before? And I said, to be honest, I think in my mind and in my heart, I made the mistake of putting every single hairdresser in the same bag. We have a saying here, cuando uno se quema con leche, ve una vaca y llora. And translated, it's gonna sound very strange, but I think you will get the point. When one gets burnt by milk, then you see a cow and cry. And of course they completely understood. I also mentioned that, you know, I know you guys don't do like color unless it's a hair extensions clients. That also made me hesitate because at first I did not think of doing anything or adding anything to my hair. You know, just I didn't want to cause more stress to it, or I felt very scared of doing just about anything. And honestly, I had serious serious trust issues, which I don't think could have been different, honestly, based on what happened to me. So let me give you the anatomy of how things are now. Up here is the area that was burned off. Oh, you can see here there's a little bit I forgot to pin up. This is how long things are. You can see this is super burned off here. I'm gonna pin it up just because we want to look good. So that's about the growth I have in this entire section. Hence, a lot of volume loss. This is the hair that got saved. All of this layer is my actual hair. Okay, it's pretty long, which is also the reason why I don't just chop it off, because the problem is not in the ends, the problem is at the top. Then this, well, this is still just me, and then this is an entire layer of what we call here curtain extensions, because I don't know, they seem like a curtain of hair. So that is that. And then the rest of the hair, let me just pull that back. So all of this and all of this, that is my hair. The length I would say is slight. I think you can see it there. This is my hair. I would say it's about 2 centimeters longer than my hair. So I didn't do it because of length. I did it mostly because of the volume lost. And just make this long wait ahead of me a lot easier. So they basically do like this tiny knots with your hair. I want to say like maybe 8. That is how they sew everything in. I think next time when I do like the maintenance of it, I'm going to show you guys how it's done. Of course, when your hair grows in about 2 months, they just need to take that curtain off the hair and they put it in a different place so that it doesn't stress always the same area. Just let that area be and breathe. So how much did that cost? FYI, for those of you who are new around here, I am in Argentina, and well, in US dollars, you're going to be shocked. I'm trying to convert to US dollars. That cost me $11. So the installation of the sewed-in extensions cost me $11, and yes, you're shocked. And I'm talking about Buenos Aires, so probably there's other areas that it will cost less. That's just the current situation of Argentina with a very devalued currency. You can have like a pretty luxurious lifestyle if you earn in US dollars. I encourage you always to come visit right now, because even though it's a terrible economic situation for us Argentinians, it's a great time to come and actually live like a king, especially if you're a digital nomad. You won't regret your time here. Also keep in mind the date I'm saying this, because this is a very fluctuating country and chaotic, so you don't really know what's next. You know, we could become super expensive. Seriously, anything can happen in Argentina. Yeah, I paid back then, the first time I went, 10,000 pesos, and then it came back for color that made me super anxious. And yes, they can color your roots. Experts that do the installation of your hair extensions do your color, because they will take care of your extensions, and they're just super used to that. Because just maybe 2 weeks had gone by, I have not yet needed to take them off. You can do the root touch-up without taking them off. So I forgot to mention that I also spritz a little bit of K18 in the most damaged areas before going into the salon to have my roots touched up, just because K18 is still not available. I did have this imported just for me. I thought this was worth mentioning because actually it's a good hack if it's not available in your country. We discussed a lot about my options, and there's a few things I may consider it down the line, but they actually thought, and this is interesting, that I had done a really great job coloring my roots, and the formulation I picked thanks to one of you guys, one of my subscribers that shared the formulation. So they actually did for me color-wise exactly what I was doing at home and just to my roots, because Like I suspected, and they confirmed, the areas that look different cannot be touched, and they will not be touched. And that makes things frustrating and heartbreaking, because, well, it's going to take a while to reach all the way down here. But at this point, I'm not even that ambitious. Like, all I want is for my hair to be the length of my bangs, so that at least in the morning it doesn't look all like a mohawk haircut. It looks more blended, and it looks more like the way I'm used to having my hair. I actually took this with me. They did 12-11. This is Igora Royal High Lift with double developer. So here there is 60 grams of product. They used the entire tube, and hence used 120 mils of 30 volume developer. And they just applied it to the root growth. And what they said is, do not wait that much in coming back and doing the root touch-up. The smaller the growth of your virgin roots, the easier they are to lift, because they're closer to the scalp. There's a little bit more warmth, and it's also a smaller area that could be slightly more orange. So on the next touch-up, you can overlap slightly and get to a more blonde color. So we're getting there. Slight orange up there, but honestly it feels a lot like, you know, slightly like a root shadow in with a little bit of love. They also confirmed that they believe this is less damaging than bleach, and it's a good alternative until my hair grows a little bit more. Another thing that was discussed is the possibility of doing a fake root, so root shadow, so that basically I wouldn't have to do anything to my hair, and it would hopefully blend with my natural hair color, and it would look a little bit of an ombre down the line. Or we could do a bit of a balayage, but the problem is mostly because there's damage from this area downwards. If you can see the area that we are touching up with color, it's super shiny and looking so good. For me, it feels like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. At least partially. There's another person, actually a team, that is handling my hair and that is thinking about the best things I can do. They had toppers, they had wigs, they had extensions. So let's talk about those options. Clip-on toppers. I know people that use clip-on toppers. I'm one of those people that can barely stand sunglasses on my nose, so even these clips, they're a little bit uncomfortable for me. That's just the way I'm built. I don't know why, that's just the way I am. I'm very sensitive to things, and I know that I won't even bother or care enough to put that topper on all the time. Maybe if I had this huge event, and I don't know, like it didn't feel like a solution for me, and they agreed on that also. And same goes for the wig. I have too much hair to be wearing a wig every single day. I just won't do it. Like this being installed on me all the time is the right way for me, for my lifestyle. And finally, individual extensions. That would be an option, but the problem is they would be super visible because it's right here at the top. And they saw me coming in with my hair pinned like this, and they thought everything was, you know, fine. And then I showed them and they were like, oh my God, who did this to you? No, still too soon, still not funny. Anyways, the thing is that the sad truth about individual extensions, to kind of weigh down those like shorter hairs at the top, that shorter layer at the top, I would need at least a year growth, a full year growth. So 6 more months for it to look good, you know, especially because what I like to do is use my parting right here in the middle. So here we're in spring now, and I'm hoping that by the end of summer I should be able to go for individual extensions to be able to wear the hair down and have a little bit of weight from the growth and from the individual extensions. I'm also waiting to decide on whether I will do I will allow a natural root growth or do a root shadow. The thing about the root shadow is that high lift color only lightens hair that is virgin. So I know if I start dyeing my hair to create that fake root shadow, then this will no longer be a solution for me. So that's why I'm still thinking about it. Another thing which I think I'm more fond of is to allow a little bit of natural root growth. And finally, what will be ideal for me is to somehow, and let me know in the comments below if you're one of my experts, advise me to do somehow like teased baby light highlights using the Gora High Lift that works on my roots, because that means I don't need to part ways with this. This can still be used. I can still be blonde. I can still look more natural with a little bit of growth, and it will be a little bit more low maintenance. So those are my options. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I'm actually super pleased and a lot less stressed out. And I see this as a temporary solution to look better, to feel better, until my hair goes back to what it looks. So hopefully in a year, I will be able to remove these. I can't wait because, like I just mentioned, I can barely stand sunglasses on my nose. I'm a very sensitive person. So even though this doesn't hurt, and you really get used to it super fast, in case you are curious, I'd rather just wear my hair. The other thing that she advised me, the girl that did my color, next time to cancel out the orange a little bit more, we're going to do half and half. So half of 1211 and half of, hold on, and half of 1219. This has a little bit more violet on it. So this is more ashy, this is double ash, and this has cendre, I don't know how to pronounce that in English. So as you probably know by the color wheel, violet does cancel out orange. So that would help. Once again, just on the roots. The differences in color is something I had to deal with for the time being because the hair needs more love and care and growth, and you know, we don't want to go completely bald, do we? And then the other thing was I have a little bit of gray hair and lighter hair. Since I was very young, I had lighter, naturally blonder hair around my hairline right here. So what they call now the Scandinavian look or something like that. So mine is naturally grayer and blonder. So she told me that we would use just a 10-1 on that area that is lighter, so that it wouldn't look you know, a little bit gray or ashy, and it just would look overall more even and more youthful as well. So next time maybe you are coming with me, show you the maintenance process, so how they remove and sew them back in, and then also how they touch up my roots with all these products. Anyways, that is it for today, guys. I hope this helped you. The most important thing, a really important message, I hope I'm able to communicate or convey. So sometimes you fall on your knees, and I know this may seem overly dramatic considering we're just talking about hair, but if you're thinking that I'm being dramatic, it's because you haven't gone into a salon hoping to look better after and found yourself with years and years ahead of damage on your hair. That's why I make all these videos and share all this information. We're getting this documented so that if something happens to someone and they Google this, they will see a bit of a roadmap. So when life gets you down to your knees, something unfair, unexpected, traumatic damages you, well, you need a good cry, and then you put on your lipstick, you put on your extensions, you clip up the broken pieces, and you try to move on. Someone very close to me that was going through a terrible illness said to me, you know, sometimes you need to look good to feel better on the inside, and that will give you strength to keep moving forward and keep fighting until you reach the end line. I'm not talking about sweeping dirt under the rug, but at least you can keep your head up and look your best. If you don't feel like yourself, you may get stuck in this negative cycle where it's like you're feeling worse and worse, and it doesn't really help you at all. So if you're going through this, and this is mostly a message to you, try to look the best you can with what you've got, and that will translate into great things for you mentally and physically. Remember that we are warriors with hearts of angels. So I will catch up with you all once again on my next one. Ciao.